Harry Potter didn't play a lot of Quidditch games in the series, and there are a few reasons for this. J.K. Rowling, the author of the series, is known to have mentioned that she started to dread writing Quidditch matches. This likely contributed to the scarcity of Quidditch scenes in the books. Additionally, Quidditch matches didn't significantly advance the overall story, and Rowling may have found it tiresome to plan out entire matches instead of focusing on other aspects of the plot. Some readers have pointed out that she could have included more Quidditch scenes without delving into every detail of each match, but it's essential to find a balance between world-building and plot development. While the Harry Potter series is beloved for its characters and storytelling, some readers have noted that there are limitations in the depth of world-building compared to other fantasy series. Overall, opinions on the quality of world-building in Harry Potter vary, but it remains a highly popular and cherished series for its unique characters and compelling story, despite any perceived flaws. The magic in Harry Potter is often celebrated as one of the most enchanting aspects of the wizarding world. The charming atmosphere of the books, with its magical spells, fantastic creatures, and whimsical settings, is undoubtedly one of the series' strong points. Many readers have been captivated by the imaginative and immersive magical elements that J.K. Rowling introduced to her world. While there may be criticisms and debates about certain aspects of the series, it's essential to acknowledge that Harry Potter's magic system and the overall ambience of the books have been major factors in its tremendous success. These elements have resonated with readers of all ages, making it one of the best-selling book series of all time. The debate about the quality of world-building, the consistency of the narrative, or the depth of certain aspects is all part of the broader discussion among Harry Potter fans. Criticisms and discussions about the series' intricacies have added to the enjoyment and engagement of fans who continue to explore the magical world created by J.K. Rowling. Whether it's the Quidditch matches or other facets of the series, the Harry Potter universe remains a beloved and cherished part of contemporary literature and pop culture. However, the inclusion of Quidditch as a sport in the Harry Potter series does have its quirks. Some readers have pointed out that J.K. Rowling's initial reluctance to delve into sports due to her own disinterest might have influenced her portrayal of Quidditch in a somewhat cynical manner. However, it turned out to be an engaging and fun element for those who enjoy sports. Quidditch itself does have some peculiar rules that can be seen as problematic for a sport. The game only ends when the snitch is caught, and it's worth a significant number of points compared to the other methods of scoring, making it the main objective for many teams. This unique scoring system has led to some interesting debates among fans. Comparatively, other sports, like American football, have multiple ways to score goals, creating a more balanced competition. The points raised about the sport's design, particularly the dominance of the snitch, highlight an interesting aspect of world building in the Harry Potter universe. While Quidditch is an integral part of the series and adds to the excitement, it's also a subject of discussion and debate among fans, which is a testament to the depth and complexity of the wizarding world. Regardless of its quirks, Quidditch remains an iconic element of the Harry Potter series and adds to the rich tapestry of the magical universe J.K. Rowling created. Certainly, writing Quidditch matches in the Harry Potter series posed a unique challenge for J.K. Rowling. Initially, the excitement of detailing the matches and the thrill of the game provided a creative outlet. However, as the series progressed, Quidditch matches became repetitive with similar patterns and outcomes. It's akin to writing about a jewelry thief who keeps robbing the same stores, using the same tactics over multiple books. Eventually, the repetition can become monotonous for both the writer and the reader. Rowling's approach to Quidditch was influenced by her personal interests and experiences. She might not have been particularly fond of sports, and Quidditch was introduced as a creative response, perhaps even a playful jab at people in her life who were overly enthusiastic about sports. The sport, while exciting in concept, became challenging to sustain creatively, leading to inventive excuses in the later books to sideline Quidditch matches. For instance, events like the Tri-Wizard Tournament and the interference of characters like Umbridge and the challenges faced in Deathly Hallows served as valid reasons to divert the focus away from Quidditch. Despite its challenges, there are instances where Rowling's writing prowess shines through, as seen in the well-crafted Quidditch final in the third book, which remains a standout chapter in the series. However, as the narrative evolved, Rowling had to find ways to navigate the limitations of Quidditch, which ultimately led to its reduced prominence in the later books. Rowling's ability to adapt and balance balance various elements in the story showcases her talent as a writer, even in the face of creative challenges. Indeed, the portrayal of Quidditch in the Harry Potter series raises intriguing questions and observations. When you consider the number of games Harry Potter actually played, it's surprisingly limited. Over his 7 years at Hogwarts, each team typically only plays 3 games a year for the trophy. However, in Harry's case, several matches were cancelled or he was banned from playing, drastically reducing his Quidditch experience. For instance, during his 4th year, the Triwizard Tournament overshadowed the Quidditch season entirely. In his 2nd year, 2 games were cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances related to the Chamber of Secrets incident. Additionally, in his 5th year, Umbridge banned Harry from playing Quidditch after the Slytherin match, and he missed his 7th year due to the events of the final book. This limited Quidditch experience becomes even more noteworthy when you consider Harry's role as the team's seeker and his eventual appointment as captain. Between winning the cup at the end of his 3rd year and becoming captain at the beginning of his 6th year, Harry only played in 1 official Quidditch match. This absence is certainly perplexing, especially when one considers that Katie Bell, another skilled player, wasn't named captain over him. J.K. Rowling has acknowledged in interviews that she found it challenging to keep Quidditch matches interesting and eventually decided to shift the focus away from them. Consequently, Harry's limited participation in Quidditch can be seen as a creative choice by the author to maintain the story's momentum and find new avenues to explore within the wizarding world. Despite the limited Quidditch content, the series remains a beloved and enduring saga for fans worldwide. But what were the Quidditch game of Harry? How was he decisive? When was he injured? In the 1st year, the first game of Harry is against Slytherin. During the match, Harry, playing as the Seeker, chases the Golden Snitch and faces various obstacles, including an intentional foul by the Slytherin captain, Marcus Flint. As Harry tries to catch the Snitch, his broom starts behaving strangely and becomes uncontrollable, nearly throwing him off. Hermione notices Professor Snape muttering under his breath and realizes he might be jinxing Harry's broom. She uses a spell to set Snape's robes on fire, distracting him and allowing Harry to regain control and catch the Snitch with his mouth, winning the match for Gryffindor. The second game of the 1st year against Hufflepuff is pretty fast. Harry catches the Golden Snitch in spectacular fashion, ending the game and securing a victory for Gryffindor. The game is over in record time, lasting only about 5 minutes, and Gryffindor is in the lead. Ron and Hermione are in the stands, nervously watching the match. Ron gets into a scuffle with Draco Malfoy, and Neville joins in to help Ron. Meanwhile, Harry makes a remarkable dive and successfully catches the Snitch, drawing cheers from the crowd. Dumbledore, who is in the stands watching the game, congratulates Harry on his victory and mentions that he's pleased to see Harry hasn't been brooding about the mysterious mirror and has been keeping busy. Snape, on the other hand, appears frustrated and angry. However, Harry Potter can't play the last game of the season. After his confrontation with Quirrell, he vanished, and when he wakes up, Ron gives him this news. "You missed the last Quidditch match. We were steamrolled by Ravenclaw without you. So the first year end without a Quidditch trophy. The second year, the first game is against Slytherin as well. Harry is the seeker for the Gryffindor team, and the match takes place on a rainy day. While in the air, a rogue bludger, which seems to be targeting Harry, causes chaos during the game. Harry is doing his best to avoid the bludger and try to catch the Golden Snitch to win the match for Gryffindor. During the match, he makes a spectacular catch to win the game, but in the process, the rogue bludger hits him and breaks his arm. This injury leads to a visit to the hospital wing, because Professor Lockhart worsens the situation and Madame Pomfrey tries to mend his arm using Skelly Grow, a painful potion that regrows bones. During Harry's stay in the hospital wing, Dobby reveals that he's been tampering with the bludger to harm Harry, thinking that it would force him to leave Hogwarts. The second game is cancelled due to the chamber being opened, and unfortunately, the season is over for Harry without a title. During the third year, the first against the Hufflepuff team, because Malfoy is injured due to the issue with Buck and Hagrid. The game takes place during a severe thunderstorm, but Quidditch matches are not cancelled for such weather conditions. The storm makes the game extremely challenging, with strong winds and heavy rain. During the match, Harry faces off against Cedric Diggory, a fifth-year student from Hufflepuff, who is larger and heavier than Harry, making him less susceptible to the storm's effects. Harry is struggling to see the snitch due to the rain on his glasses and the poor visibility caused by the storm. At one point, Harry's glasses get wet, making it even more challenging for him to see. Hermione comes up with a solution to repel water from the glasses using a spell. This enables Harry to see clearly and continue the game. As the game progresses, it becomes increasingly difficult for the players to control their brooms and see the snitch. A sudden silence falls over the stadium, even though the wind is still blowing strongly. At this moment, a terrifying sensation overwhelms Harry, and he sees a large number of Dementors on the field below. Their presence terrifies him, and he hears a woman's voice screaming in his head. Harry loses control of his broom and falls off it, but he is saved by the quick actions of his fellow players and Professor Dumbledore, who arrives on the field and uses magic to repel the Dementors. He is carried to the hospital wing where he regains consciousness. In the end, Harry learns that Hufflepuff won the match by catching the snitch just after Harry fell from his broom. The Gryffindor team and Madame Pomfrey tell him about the events after his fall, including Professor Dumbledore's intervention. Additionally, Ron and Hermione inform Harry that his Nimbus 2000 broomstick was destroyed when it hit the Whomping Willow. This Quidditch match was particularly significant because it marked the first time Harry lost a Quidditch match in the series. The practice before the second game of the third year, Wood, the Gryffindor team captain, informed Harry that Cho Chang would be Ravenclaw's seeker for the match. Harry had hoped she wouldn't be fit to play due to injuries, but it turned out that she had made a full recovery. Wood, however, had confidence in Harry's firebolt, which he believed would outperform Chang's Comet 260. As the practice continued, Harry's performance on the firebolt was exceptional. He demonstrated perfect control and agility, earning praise from the team. The presence of the firebolt inspired the Gryffindor players, and they executed their moves flawlessly. Wood had no criticisms for the team, a rare occurrence, and he was optimistic about the upcoming match. Harry stayed on the field after practice, allowing Ron to take a ride on the firebolt. Madame Hooch, who had fallen asleep, eventually woke up and instructed Harry and Ron to return to the castle. The next morning, the Gryffindor team faced Ravenclaw in a Quidditch match. The weather was favorable, and Harry was excited. He took off on his firebolt, which proved to be faster and more agile than any other broom. He had a thrilling chase with Cho Chang, and they were both in pursuit of the golden snitch. During the match, Harry was interrupted by the sudden appearance of Dementors on the field. He summoned a powerful Patronus charm to repel them. Afterward, he continued the chase, and with an incredible dive, he caught the snitch, securing the victory for Gryffindor. The Gryffindor team and supporters celebrated Harry's success, and Professor McGonagall penalized the Slytherin team for attempting to sabotage the game by disguising themselves as Dementors. The victory led to a festive celebration in the Gryffindor common room, with Harry and his teammates enjoying a well-deserved party to commemorate their success in the Quidditch match. For the third game, Gryffindor needs to win by a margin of more than 200 points to secure the Quidditch Cup, and capturing the snitch is worth 150 points. Before the match, there is intense rivalry and tension between the two teams, especially between Harry and Draco Malfoy. Slytherin is leading in the Quidditch tournament, and Gryffindor hasn't won the cup in a long time. The anticipation for the upcoming match is very high, with both teams and their respective houses, Gryffindor and Slytherin, heavily invested in the outcome. The match itself is marked by a lot of aggressive play and penalties. Gryffindor takes an early lead, but it's not an easy game. The Slytherins resort to dirty tactics, and there are numerous confrontations and physical altercations during the match. Despite all these challenges, Gryffindor manages to maintain its lead, thanks in part to Harry's skills as the Seeker. As the game progresses, Gryffindor's lead is secure, and the team is on the verge of winning. Then, at a critical moment, Harry spots the golden snitch and takes off after it. He's closely pursued by Malfoy, and they engage in a thrilling chase. Malfoy tries to hinder Harry, but eventually, Harry manages to catch the snitch, securing a decisive victory for Gryffindor. The atmosphere in the stadium is electric as Gryffindor wins the Quidditch Cup, and the team is celebrated by their supporters. It's a moment of joy and relief, and they revel in their hard-fought victory. During the fourth year, however, there are no Quidditch Cup due to the Tri-Wizard Tournament. The decision to cancel Quidditch during the fourth year at Hogwarts, as depicted in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, has been a point of contention among fans. Some argue that there doesn't seem to be a logical reason for this choice, other than not wanting to overcrowd the book with 4 Quidditch matches on top of the 3 Tri-Wizard Tournament tasks. It has even been suggested that this could have been resolved by simply having Harry and Cedric not participate in Quidditch that year. One possible explanation for this decision is that it allowed J.K. Rowling the freedom to use the Quidditch pitch for the 3rd task of the Tri-Wizard Tournament. However, in a magical world, there could have been creative ways to work around this logistical challenge. Another point raised is that having a Quidditch tournament within the Tri-Wizard Tournament would raise questions about why there wasn't an inter-school Quidditch tournament, similar to inter-house tournaments within Hogwarts. This could have provided a more competitive and engaging alternative to the Tri-Wizard Tournament, which, involving only 3 participants, might seem less thrilling to some. Additionally, the limited number of wizarding schools in Europe, which is inconsistent with the real-world demographics of the continent, raises questions about the Quidditch pipeline to the professional level. With only 3 prominent wizarding schools and a small wizarding population, it's unclear how there could be enough talent to sustain a thriving professional Quidditch league. This highlights broader issues with the world building in the Harry Potter series and the size of the wizarding community. Furthermore, we can imagine the logistics of the British Quidditch League. Maybe it operates similarly to the English Premier League in attracting the best players from all over the world. This not only enhances the competition, but also makes it the most followed league in the wizarding world. To sustain such a high level of competition, it would be impractical to rely solely on Hogwarts leavers. In reality, the British Quidditch League would need a broader pool of talent, which is why it likely draws players from various sources. It's worth considering the missed opportunities for inter-school Quidditch competitions. Bringing Beauxbatons and Durmstrang teams into the mix would have not only provided a chance for an epic Seeker face-off between Harry and Crumb, but also allowed for exciting matchups and further exploration of magical sports. However, during Harry's time at Hogwarts, it's evident that Gryffindor often fielded the best Quidditch team. Players like Oliver Wood and Ginny Weasley went on to pursue professional Quidditch careers, with Ginny becoming a successful Seeker for the Holyhead Harpies. Still, this raises questions about the limited representation of other houses in the professional Quidditch world. For instance, what happened to players from houses like Slytherin, Ravenclaw, or Hufflepuff? If an all-school Quidditch team were to be formed, it would indeed present a unique dilemma, especially when selecting positions. The team would have to choose from the likes of the Weasley twins as beaters, Angelina Johnson, Alicia Spinnet, and several Slytherins as chasers, and then Harry Potter, Cho Chang, Draco Malfoy, and Cedric Diggory as seekers. The competition between these seekers would be particularly intense, with the prospect of facing Victor Crumb as a significant challenge. So the competition starts again in the 5th year, and the first game is, as always, against Slytherin. The game was intense, and tensions were running high. Harry caught the golden snitch, winning the game for Gryffindor, but shortly after, a fight broke out between Harry, George Weasley, and Draco Malfoy due to some insulting comments made by Malfoy about Harry and George's parents. As a result of the fight, Professor McGonagall gave Harry and George each a week's worth of detention. However, Dolores Umbridge, the High Inquisitor, who had recently been granted supreme authority over student punishments, decided to take it further. She issued an educational decree banning Harry, Fred, and George from playing Quidditch ever again, even though the rest of the team was not involved in the fight. This news was devastating to the Gryffindor Quidditch team as they lost their Seeker and their beaters, leaving them in a difficult situation for their upcoming matches. Hufflepuff emerged victorious over Gryffindor in a game lasting 22 minutes, with a final score of 240-230. The Gryffindor team's performance was marred by numerous mistakes, with the only silver lining being the game's brevity. Notable errors included Jack Sloper's misfire of a bludger, striking Angelina Johnson in the face, Andrew Kirk's panicked fall from his broom, as Zachariah Smith approached with the quaffle, and Ron's fumbles in catching the quaffle during the opposing team's shots. Despite these mishaps, Ginny Weasley managed to snatch the snitch from Hufflepuff seeker Summerby, reducing Gryffindor's deficit and concluding the match. On a clear and fine day, Gryffindor faced off against Ravenclaw. Roger Davies, the Ravenclaw captain, opened the scoring, but Ron Weasley improved his performance compared to the previous 2 matches. Bradley and Chambers served as Ravenclaw's other 2 chasers that day. Ginny Weasley outpaced Cho Chang in the race for the snitch, securing a victory for Gryffindor and the Quidditch Cup. Next, the 6th year is the year Harry is captain, and it's important to note that since his contributions winning the cup during the 3rd year, he only played 1 game. Fred and George don't come back to school, and it's the final year of Harry. In the first Quidditch game, Gryffindor played against Slytherin, and it was a significant match for Gryffindor. Ron was the keeper for the Gryffindor team, and there was tension before the game as some people questioned his ability as a keeper. During the game, Gryffindor was leading with Ginny scoring multiple goals, and Ron making spectacular saves as the keeper. The commentator, Zacharias Smith, made snide comments about Ron and the team. Towards the end of the game, when Slytherin's chaser, Harper, was about to catch the golden snitch, Harry Potter made a comment to distract Harper. He yelled, "How much did Malfoy pay you to come on instead of him?" This unexpected distraction caused Harper to fumble the snitch, and Harry caught it, winning the game for Gryffindor. After the game, the Gryffindor team was celebrating, but Hermione confronted Harry about using Felix Felicis, a lucky potion, to influence the game. However, Harry revealed that he didn't actually use the potion and faked it to make Ron feel confident. In the end, Ron had a successful game because he genuinely saved goals without any magical assistance. Ron, realizing this, left the room with his broomstick, feeling proud of his skills. However, the second game wasn't as successful. They are playing against Hufflepuff, and before the match, Harry drops by the hospital wing to visit Ron, who is recovering from a murder attempt by poison. Ron is agitated, as Madame Pomfrey won't allow him to watch the match. During their conversation, Harry expresses his frustration with a fellow Quidditch player, McLaggen, who has been causing issues on the team. Ron is also dealing with his own relationship problems, particularly with Lavender Brown, who is annoying Harry with her presence. Harry notices that Draco Malfoy is leaving the castle with 2 girls, while the rest of the school is at the Quidditch match. This piques Harry's curiosity, as he suspects Malfoy is up to something. He considers following Malfoy, but decides to play in the match instead. The match is challenging, with some mishaps and arguments between Harry and his teammates. Luna Lovegood is the unexpected commentator for the match, providing eccentric and unrelated commentary. McLaggen wants to show a beater how to play instead of keeping his circles, and Harry gets hit by a bludger and loses consciousness. He wakes up in the hospital wing with a cracked skull, and Madame Pomfrey insists he stays overnight. Harry is frustrated about missing the match and not being able to find out what Malfoy is up to. Ron informs him that the Gryffindor team lost the match, but he is somewhat amused by the comical commentary from Luna. Harry also mentions that he saw Malfoy sneaking off earlier and regrets not following him to discover what he was doing. Ron scolds Harry for considering missing a Quidditch match for that reason, reminding him of his responsibilities as the team captain. However, it will be his last game as a Gryffindor Quidditch player, because for the 3rd game, he will be in detention for what he did to Malfoy. For the final match, Gryffindor versus Ravenclaw, Ginny Weasley played as Seeker, and her position as a chaser was taken over once again by Dean Thomas. Cho Chang played as Ravenclaw Seeker. Gryffindor won the match 450, 140, and won the Quidditch Cup. The next year, Harry doesn't come back to Hogwarts following the murder of Albus Dumbledore. I hope you liked this debriefing about Harry Potter's Quidditch career at Hogwarts. This sport definitively is part of Harry. Even if he didn't play that much games, he practiced a lot. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy the video, please consider leaving a comment. It helps the channel develop.